All right, survey facts. Who knew surveys had facts, right? Just kidding. All right, so can you use a prior survey on a transaction? And if so, how old is too old? So the answer to that, two parts. The first part of the answer to that question is you can use a prior survey on a transaction, provided that the survey is certified to one of the prior owners that were in title on the property, so the prior owner of record. So either our current seller or another seller of the property that maybe passed that survey down, we can use. How old is too old is a little more challenging of a question to answer. I've used surveys as old as 20 years old, and some, that have been even older, depending on the survey and depending on the transaction. And then I've had some where I've had to turn them down. And the reason I've had to turn them down is because they don't have certifications on them. They don't have a legal description on them. They don't have the name of the surveyor who prepared the survey. Like, there's a lot of missing information on this prior survey. And a lot of times when you're dealing with those, it's a large parcel, unfortunately. So where it's been passed down, maybe through the chain, as other people who have owned the property have sold it to the new buyers and so on. It's been condensed from this big, huge piece of paper down to this little bitty 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So you can't read it, and 90% of the information on that is missing. So it just depends. We view those on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes we do make exceptions. We make business calls, depending. So we would just have to review that and determine, whether or not we could deem that survey acceptable or not and take those risks. And then as far as would you have to sign something if you used a prior survey? So yes, the seller would need to sign what's called a surveyor's affidavit or survey affidavit that says that there have been no new improvements made on that property since the date of that prior survey that we're using, which again is why the date is so important. We want to confirm when that survey was done. And they're basically attesting that everything is still the same, nothing has changed. The buyer would just be required or requested to acknowledge the survey that they are taking in lieu of getting a new survey. I always try to recommend everybody to get a new survey on the property for, a pretty minimal expense for them to purchase that survey. It's just a peace of mind. They can confirm nothing has changed, no easements have been added or anything like that. Nothing crazy has happened. Not that that's a common thing, but things happen. As we all know in life, things happen often, and we can't determine what those things can be. So just getting that piece of paper showing that nothing has changed, everything is accurate, they are getting exactly what they think that they are getting is hugely important.
And I think it's just to add to that. I mean, it's for such a big investment that these buyers are potentially buying. I mean, the thousands of dollars that are just going into the closing cost alone, or just to purchase this moving cost. I mean, for something as small as a survey, the portion of it, I mean, when you look at the big picture, I mean, it is so important, and especially to understand what you're truly buying. I mean, I think that's the reality is I don't want a 10-year-old survey. I have no clue what changed, as opposed to a brand new one certified to me. I don't know. I just think it's, some people don't, may not take it as serious, but it's a huge, that's a huge investment, and for, however many couple $100, I mean, it's huge. So it's worth it. So,
and just to add to that, if you take a surveyor's affidavit from somebody and down the road find out that there's a problem with your survey and you need to make a claim on title, I think you're going to have a difficult time having an underwriter supporting you, since you didn't buy a new survey that was certified to you.
That's correct.
And then finding the seller to hold them responsible for signing an affidavit saying that nothing's changed is going to be a very difficult feat.
So you're saying good luck with that. Got it. Yep.
I'm saying for one of the largest investments you'll make in your life, the minor expense of a survey, whether it's $350 or $500, is nominal compared to the risk.
That's correct.
Totally. You probably mentioned it too. I mean, one of the other larger selling points is having it, again, certified to them, because they're going to probably have to pull a permit for whatever in the future, So it's like you may as well kind of lump it in and have somebody else take care of it for you, order it, and you'll have it for the future. So.
Yep. And I think somebody just asked a question if there was a way to locate an old survey on a cash transaction. The only way to locate those is through the prior owner. If there is an existing one, they would have to have a copy of that. There's no record of those that are kept. And if you go back to the old surveyor, even if you were able to determine who that was, 99.9% of those surveyors are not going to provide you with a copy of that for their own liability and risk in doing so.